Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. It's an engaging and enlightening talk show on life, relationships, and the business of life. Grab a cup of juice and just chill. Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Live life. Live fully.
Now, welcome to Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Now, in this season's episodes, really, we will be focusing on family dynamics. We like to have discussion on the patterns of interaction, relationships among family members, parenting, communication, and also decision making in these times and seasons that we are in. Really, now I've got brilliant minds in the industry who will be shaping or sharing the podcast mic with me as we pivot positive changes and transformation in this very important topic for such a dynamic time as this. And now we know that the family structure is going through a lot of challenging time and so in this 21st century, we know that the family dynamics are shaped by increasing diversity in the family structures, the integration of technology into communication and daily life. Now, a greater focus on children, mental health, and individuality, and also involving parental roles towards greater engagement and responsibility. Now, this is the crux of our discussion, and I would like you to join me as we explore on this important topic of family dynamics, parenting, and relationships in this 21st century. Welcome to Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. My name is Omobola Stephen. Now, today I have Craig Pax, who is the founder of Parenting Harmony. We will be talking about how we can create fun and play without screens or spending a fortune. Now, Craig helps parents learn to reduce stress and increase joy, laughter, and connection to music, activities, and sustain their own creativity. Good to have you on the show, Craig Pax.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
I'm honored to be with you. Thank you so much.
Not to have you. Looking forward to this very important topic of discussion, Craig. And so let's begin with this question. How can we get the most of parenting young kids?
It's a great question. I think the key thing is being present. Can we just be present? And it's so easy. You know, you talked about how the dynamics have really been shifting in today's time. It's so easy to be distracted. I mean, what parent hasn't had their kid tug on their clothes when we're looking at our phone, you know? But I think if we really, really want to make the big shift, the key is in being present, and present to how are we actually being with our children. And one of the things that I teach that I think a lot of parent coaches don't necessarily focus on, but I think is really vital, and I've been working with kids for over 30 years, is our affect. And what I mean by that is, how are we physically using our body, our bodily affect, and our vocal affect to maximize the connection with our kids? So this is one of the most powerful exercises. If your listeners just get one thing out of today, check this out. And it's something I train all of the people who I work with on. The simple act of lowering your body to get down to eye level with your children, that alone can make a world of difference, right? So often we're screaming across the room, hey, Johnny, I need you to do this or do that. And like, oh, they don't cooperate. Oh, they don't listen. But the simple shift of using our body to go next to them, lower our body, get eye level with them, and you will see the level of connect. You'll feel it in your heart and you'll feel it energetically, the connection with your child and the level of cooperation alone, right? That's presence, and that's being present with your child, understanding how you're using your body and your voice to maximize connection.
I absolutely, I quite agree with that. Now we seems to be tending towards spirituality here, because we know that the children in some way absorb our own energy as we direct it to them. So how can we direct this kind of energy when sometimes we as parents, we are so stressed out, and sometimes we are just oozing the wrong energy out, whereas these children are absorbing them?
I love this question so much, because children, I mean, think about your own childhood. For all of us to think about our childhood, when our parents were really stressed or they were really angry, like the fear, the energy we felt inside around that But likewise, when our parents were joking around or they were in a good mood, we felt that too. Children are so sensitive. They understand our energy. And if we as parents understand our effect on them, then what I would say is the best thing that we can do as parents is understand ourselves and take care of our well-being to the best of our abilities. If it means taking 5 minutes, to just go and listen to your favorite song to get yourself in a better space, if it means calling up a friend, if it means meditating, like whatever it is really, really vital to take care of our well-being so we can be the best parents we can be. And, for a lot of parents will say, well, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for this. Well, if the result is there's a lot of stress and yelling in your home, then it's important to make the time and figure out what brings you to a place of peace so that we could be better parents and create more harmony in our world and less stress for ourselves, which means less stress and a more joyful life for our children.
You said we can use music to create happy moments. Can we talk?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. So, like my dad, when I was young, he worked so hard. I didn't get a whole lot of time with him, and but one of the memories I do have is he used to put on music all the time and hoist me up on his shoulders and go dancing around. And so, though I don't have a ton of memories with my dad as a child, that's one of them. And what it shows me is the absolute power of music. And so I'm a professional musician as well. And so I've written a whole lot of songs for children and for my own kids as well. And, so you can make the everyday moments really, really special. Because look, we're not going to be taking our kids to Disneyland every day. That's not going to be happening. So how do we make the everyday moments important? And one of the ways that we can do that and memorable is through the power of music. So it could be something as simple as, I have a hand washing song. When my kids grow up, they are always going to remember, this song just for something as simple as washing hands. Now that could have been a moment that just comes and goes, but it's something that happens every day. But with our young children, if we're singing for washing hands, for waking them up, for bedtime, for bath time, and we bring music into the fold, then we start associating these everyday moments with connection, with joy, and with fun. And so the more we can sing and put on music associating with our children, that is going to set great, happy, positive memories with our kids.
All right. So when there's new music, are there other options that it's available?
Yeah, so I have a whole, actually, we're talking about affect, right? How to use our body and our voice. So I have a whole course called Parenting A to E. The A stands for affect. The E stands for effect, the effectiveness of being connected and loving and having a beautiful relationship with our children. And so in this course, I teach how to use your body, your face, your hand, your arms to maximize connection. And in another module of my course, I have 14 songs that are built to have connection every day with our kids. And then in the third part of it, I have 10 screen-free activities that you can do with your children that are fun and connecting in a way to practice using our affect to maximize connection and love and joy with our kids. And then I've got some bonus materials like bedtime rituals and bath time rituals too.
Share your experience on how you turned a stressful and divisive parenting situation into a fun and correcting one.
Yeah, well, like I said, I've been working with kids for over 30 years. I've been a camp director. I've trained a lot of people how to work with kids, and I've got two of my own. And one of them, my oldest son, is on the autism spectrum, and that has been quite the education. He's 21 years old now, and we worked with so many parenting and behavioral experts as well. And I think that one of the things that I learned, I keep coming back to affect, is if we are intentional and we are really committed to having more peace in our home and more connection in our home, then the important thing again is is to get really clear on what is going to get us as parents to be really calm. I will tell you, like for me, about 4 or 5 years ago, I actually started a meditation practice of just daily meditation. And I know that might not be for everybody, but it could be for other people taking a walk outside. It could be putting on a song. Like there's a lot of different ways. But if we are not taking care of ourselves, we're never going to be able to reduce that stress. It's too hard. We got to make sure we're getting enough sleep and eating well and getting exercise and having social contact with people who support us and love us and have us feel good. This is not just like, well, it'd be nice if I had time. This is actually really vital if we want to be great parents.
Well, I'd like you to just share a bit of your insight or motivation to the woman out there. I'm talking about the mother now, who is the one who bear most of all this, this load in terms of parenting a child. I'm talking about, the times when the man has to be out on the field and when the woman have to, do the needful. The load is there. There's a lot of stress and how to be able to balance all this. Can you share?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. You were talking about like the dynamic of today's society. The way that technology has moved us is we are so much more separate from one another than we've ever been. You can now do almost anything without actually talking to a real human being. You can order your groceries. You can, do all your shopping. You could do so much without ever having any actual contact with a real human being. And so for any, for the moms that you're talking about here, or even stay-at-home dads, like who, the one thing I would say is get out of isolation. As a dad of a special needs kid, this is true, especially of special parents who have special needs kids. It is so easy to isolate, to never be around other parents. And so what I would say to this person that you're talking about, who's stressed, and there's a lot on their plate, is get together with other moms, get together with other parents, meet up at a park, meet up somewhere with your kids, and so you can actually talk to other parents and not feel so alone and get connected. I think it's really, really important because other parents will have wisdom, they'll have compassion, they'll have ideas, they'll have things that will be helpful, and you yourself will be able to also share your knowledge and wisdom. But being alone and being isolated is one of the worst things. So I say, become part of a group. Do whatever you can to get connected to other parents who are in a similar life stage.
All right, thank you, Craig Pax, for sharing that thought with the audience. Indeed, can we talk on the impact of stress on a family? Impact of stress on family dynamics, right, and communication. How can we begin to separate our kids from the stress that we face as parents on a daily basis?
Well, I know a lot of kids and a lot of us who grew up in stressful homes, and the effect that has is it impacts our larger society. When you look at addiction and you look at domestic violence and you look at the levels of violence, I think this world gets radically changed when there is more love present in the world. And when kids are not getting the love that they actually need, then they will get it somehow. And so our stress levels as parents, like we have to understand everything is connected, right? Like, and so we have, I keep coming back to this, but it is so vital that we're not going to have a stress-free life. And I'm not sitting here as the founder of Parenting Harmony. I never promised that I can deliver a stress-free parenting experience. But what I do promise is that I know how to reduce stress and have our overwhelm be lessened. And one of the ways is one of the major ways is by taking care of ourselves. And if it means waking up 10 minutes earlier so you could take a bubble bath or you can listen to the music that feeds your soul, or you can call a friend because you just laugh with that friend every time. If it means having that cup of coffee that just helps you feel more, whatever it is so, so vital. And does it mean that you're not going to have stress? No, it doesn't mean that. But what it does mean that if you are always, and so many parents, especially moms, are always giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, and they are actually never taking care of themselves. They're like, I didn't even have time to eat today. Those kinds of statements, it's not healthy for anybody in the family. So it is so vital to figure out the well-being and to not be isolated, to get connected with other parents who are in similar situations, and to find people who lift you up and not drag you down.
Yes, really. I've got a client who decided to just scroll the social media pages as soon as she wakes up from the bed. She says, Omobola, I just like to clear my head and make sure that I am really mentally stable before I begin, to attend to the daily routines of being a mother. What do you say to that?
Look, I'm not I'm not here to judge what anybody's doing, right? I think it's important for every person to do their own kind of questioning, their own soul searching, to be like, what really has me feel calm, and what really has me feel not calm and not at peace. And I know for me, years ago, when I was watching so much news, and I was going to news sites, and and when I was watching that, consuming that much news, I realized I was like on edge all the time. And I had to get honest with myself. I'd say, doing this does not help me be calm with my children, does not help me be the dad I want to be, doesn't help me be the human I want to be. And eventually, I actually stopped consuming all that news, and instead listen to music. And again, I'm a professional musician too, so I'll sit down at a piano or pick up my guitar. But even if you're not a professional, whatever it is, some people might want to do knitting or crocheting, whatever it is. Like, but if you get online and you're watching a bunch of comedy videos and you're laughing a lot, and being online helps you feel better, great. If you get online and you're scrolling and scrolling on TikTok or whatever it is, and you realize after 20 minutes, like, oh my God, all this time has passed and I didn't get done what I need to get done, and now I'm feeling worse about myself, and I'm a terrible mom and I'm a terrible parent, then get in touch with that and have compassion and grace for yourself. Instead of beating yourself up, have love for yourself, and commit to something different, and tell somebody out loud, hey, I'm committed to doing this instead. Will you support me?
So how can we begin to balance fun and order in the family? Is this possible?
It is totally possible. I just released a book called the Parks Party Central Parent-Child Activity Book. It's got 25 activities in it that doesn't take long at all. It could be 5 minutes. 5 minutes of focused attention with your child and laughing can make all the difference in the world. I just had a mom tell me, who just got the book, that before she did all these activities, she was yelling a lot with her kids, but after doing these little activities, she said, first of all, I'm hearing my kids belly laughing, and I realized that all my kids are seeking is just some connection. And when they got that connection, the whole tone in her home totally switched to a more positive tone. And so a lot of times we think, oh my God, I have to spend an hour or 2 hours, or I got to take my kids out to do something fun. No, it could be in your own home doing something really silly and really fun. So I think if we just bring down our expectations, can you imagine 5 minutes if you do an activity or a little game, or you put on your favorite song and say, who can dance the craziest right now, and just have a little bit of focused fun. That alone can start shifting the energy in the home and in your connection with your kid.
Thank you, Craig, once again. Can you share any projects you think the audience is going to benefit from in the long run? Feel free to share if you have any.
Yeah, so a couple of the resources I just talked about, my Parenting A to E course, From Stress to Smiles, um, and my book, the Parks Party Central Parent-Child Activity Book, they can all be found at my website at parentingharmony.com. And I want to offer this to your listeners. If if anybody wants the Parenting A to E course, which really teaches the affect plus the 14 songs plus the 10 activities, um, write to me at craigparks@parentingharmony.com and say that you heard me on this podcast, and I will give you a huge discount. I want you to have this if you want this. I want you to have the transformation. I want your stress to be lowered. I want the love in your home and the connection and joy to be raised. I want that for every parent. So if that's something that interests you, I will give you a huge discount. Just write to me saying you heard it on this podcast, and I'll make sure it's available to you.
You feel you can pass down to the audience. So feel free to share if you have any.
All right. Bedtime. Let's just talk about bedtime for young kids. It is I know it can be really stressful for parents, but I just want to say it could be really, really sweet as well. And again, if you just, because what kids are really craving is connection. That's all our kids want. And if you have bedtime rituals and a lullaby or bedtime story, here's one practice that I still do with my daughter's 11, and we still do this at bedtime every night. She always looks forward to it because it's a time where we actually spend some great time and we talk, but we always have a gratitude practice, always. And so we'll reel off and be like, so what are you grateful for today? And she'll rattle off a whole bunch of things she's grateful for, and I'll rattle off a whole bunch of things that I'm grateful for as well. And it's just beautiful. It's just really beautiful. And so if you can carve out bedtime to be a time of connection, if you know every single night that your child is going to sleep feeling loved, feeling seen, feeling heard, feeling understood, and it could be anything. Like you could ask questions like, hey, what was the most challenging part of your day today? What was the sweetest part of your day today? So, but imagine every child going to sleep feeling that level of warmth, feeling cuddled and snuggled and loved, and what that does for us as parents. Like it's a beautiful thing, and I know it is entirely possible. Like I've done this, and I've taught so many other parents how to do this. It makes a huge, huge difference.
Great. Thanks once again, Craig Parks, for sharing your thought on today's show. Craig Parks is the founder of Parenting Harmony. Now he helps parents learn to reduce stress and increase joy, laughter, and connection through music, activities, and sourcing their own creativity. It's been a worthwhile time having you on the show as we explore on this important topic on how we can create fun and play without screens or spending a fortune. Really great indeed. We really transformed by the insight that you share with the audience of Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. From the bottom of my heart and sincerely on behalf of the audience of Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen, we wish you best of luck in your book projects and all the subsequent projects you will be embarking upon. Craig.
Thank you so much. What an honor to be with you.
Absolutely honored to have you on the show, Craig. If you'd like to catch up with any missed episodes of the podcast, you can do so on any podcast distribution platforms you bump into, or any podcast cross-promotion platforms online. And do search for Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen, where disruptive yet constructive mindship conversations happen. And do have a great time listening to professionals share their thoughts, insight on topics and subjects that are related to personal development and self-improvement. I need you always to stay safe. I talk to you soon. My name is Omobola Stephen once again, and thank you for joining me on today's show. Thank you once again, Craig Parks. We had a great show.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you subscribe and leave us a review.